develop the county, and that's really what I feel is going on.
We're overdeveloping.
Development is fine, and change is okay, but to overdevelop is hurting us, and we're seeing it in a number of ways.
One you had mentioned before because of the spot zoning.
Yeah, and
which is hurting us overall.
Well, and just use that as an example. In all these comprehensive plan meetings that are happening throughout Greenberg, everybody has said the same thing. When you take down a building, don't replace it with a bigger building. When you build, we want less impervious space, meaning keep it grass. They want bike paths, they want sidewalks and things that we don't have, and yet all we see are bigger buildings going up everywhere. So the problem we have with all this construction is the rain runoff and the subsequent flooding that comes from it. I was at an East Irvington Civic Association meeting about a month or two ago, and they were complaining that the quality of life in Irvington was going down. And I sat there thinking, Irvington, wow, how is it going down? And a woman complained that they have the deer population has become so rampant, they're eating all the vegetation in their yards. And I'm thinking, that's the big problem? Yet at the same meeting, they also endorsed 450 more condos to be built on top of Taxter Road in East Irvington as part of the Avalon Green 2 project. And you can't have it both ways. But what I'm looking at is flooding is happening everywhere in the county. In my neighborhood in particular, my house happens to be the low point, and I suffer from it. I never had a problem up until about 2 or 3 years ago. When we had the big flood a couple of years ago and Mamaroneck got hammered.
Yeah, there was up 6 feet on one of the main roads.
Yeah. I had a foot of water in my basement, which was the first time I ever had water. It's because the water has no place to go. And White Plains, in particular, is building runoff into the Bronx River. It's already overburdened. But what we need to do, and there is a meeting today at 3:15 that Tom Avenanti is chairing at the county to discuss this flooding issue, because they have legislation on flooding pending. And I'm going to go to that meeting because what we need is a county-wide flooding plan or a county-wide comprehensive plan so that we address building, runoff, flooding for everybody, not just one particular community.
Well, that's the problem. It is piecemeal because, my boy, George Latimer, he's got a couple of bucks in to take care of Mamaroneck and Larchmont, but it needs to be a county-wide effort and a county-wide focus.
I agree, and unfortunately, it's always a knee-jerk reaction to a problem. Something comes up, let's throw some money at it. Let's not always throw money at it. Let's plan and see what we can do as a real solution. And we don't seem to get that. That's like, I want to see the county and the towns and villages try and consolidate their services. If you've read in the Journal News the last couple of days, they're pushing this consolidating the career fire services.
Let's hold off on that because we have one caller, and let's not hold the callers for too long. I want to appreciate your patience. Go ahead, caller. We've got Greg Kane as well as Tom Bach.
Good morning, Hezzy.
Good morning. Is this Frank?
This is Frank in Mount Vernon.
God bless you. How you doing?
I got 2 questions. I'll ask them, then I'll hang up and listen for the answers.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I'm a big supporter of conservative candidates around the county. I support you with my time, my effort, and with my money. Now, here's what I got to ask you guys. First of all, I want to know, what do you think of your party chairman giving the conservative line through a Nick Spano-inspired coup d'etat to Andy Spano as opposed to Rob Astorino? That's the first question. And the second question is, did you get a chance to see the Andy Spano-inspired press conference yesterday by Jose Alvarado and those other phonies saying that Astorino on a News 12 appearance had insulted the Hispanic community, when all he had said was, listen, the more people we bring into the county of very small economic means, the more services that these folks are going to require, which is a truthful statement. But Jose Alvarado, the hand-picked legislator of Andy Spano, was the one leading the charge. And we're to believe that that was just a genuine, sincere press conference about how insulted they felt by Rob Astorino. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. Thanks, Hezzy.
Thank you, Frank. What a great question. Unfortunately, I was so busy yesterday I didn't hear Jose Alvarado's press conference. You want to take a shot at that, Greg, first?
Okay, I'll take it. Well, the last question first.
Okay.
My mother-in-law is from Spain, That means my wife is Spanish. That means my children are Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard what he said, Ron Astorino, and I don't think anyone can really connect a racial or a crummy remark to the Spanish. It's kind of Mickey Mouse from